Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of Casticus. My name's Sam.
I'm Jake.
And we're here to talk about all things techie and nerdy, really. We'll cover anything from games to popular technology to news to maybe even some real news. It depends what we want to cover, really, doesn't it?
It depends if it's interesting enough.
Yeah. Right. I think let's get straight into it. So the first thing we want to talk about this week is the Nintendo partnership deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how much you've heard about this. You heard anything really?
I heard a bit about it, yeah.
But not a massive amount.
Not a massive
amount. Okay, so start off explaining what it is. Recently, Nintendo have been fairly aggressive about pulling content off of YouTube. They've sort of tried their best to sort of like get rid of any monetization of their content that they don't really approve of. And so this week they introduced a system where you can get a specific set of ad revenue sort of like deals with Nintendo.
Yeah.
So they will, or you can offer your entire channel up to be a Nintendo authenticated channel, which is they take 30% of the revenue you get from the video, or you can sign up individual videos, which means they take 40% of an individual video, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, just a tad.
Next up, the numbers here I'm going to use are from Total Biscuit, so all credit goes to that man for working this out. But like, so he talked about it like this, right? So say your video makes $100, YouTube takes half of that immediately, so that goes down to $50. And then most people that have sort of like a fairly high viewer count, they have a multi-channel network, don't they? So like you talking about 30%, between 10 and 30% coming out of that, right? Of that, so maybe you're down to like what, $35 realistically after that. Then Nintendo take their cut, right? So say it's an individual video, they take 40% of that, and then they're going to pay you in US dollars through PayPal, right? They're never going to pay the license, like the payment fee from PayPal. So that's 4% of that gone as well. And then if you live outside of the sort of the United States, you're going to get paid in dollars. So you've got to pay the currency conversion rate. So you could be walking away with like anywhere between like $10 and $15 out of $100, which is ridiculous.
It's hard enough to get money on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you eking out pennies out of YouTube videos, especially when you're not getting a lot of views. It's just like, I don't know, if I was in your situation, I just wouldn't even touch Nintendo content with a large bowl.
No.
I mean, it's not worth the risk. I mean, like, but then I kind of see what they're trying to do though, like in a little way. I don't agree with it at all. But let's play content. It's quite a good discussion to actually have, actually, when you think about it. I mean, like, what are your views on sort of like let's play monetizing?
Well, I think when you have a game that's something like The Last of Us or, I don't know, Far Cry, a big game where there's a lot of plot to it, then a let's play video of that, then you're kind of ripping off the game producers because you're getting all that plot line that they've written and spent time developing just for free online. Whereas if it was a game which is like most of Nintendo's games, like Smash Bros. And all the little arcadey ones, then there's not really much plot there. It's just gameplay, so you're not actually losing that much. Yeah. You don't get the same experience by just sitting and watching someone play it, rather than actually being engaged and playing it yourself.
Yeah, like that game, like a game like Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart is all about the gameplay. There's no plot.
There's
like,
nothing there.
I've got no problem with like PewDiePie or Jesse Cox or like any of those big like Yogscast guys, like if they play a game, because like it's not them really playing the game, like you're going there for the commentary. Like Jesse Cox will sit and jabber over Dragon Age, which he's doing at the moment, for example, something like that, and like but you're there to listen to him play the game and watch him play the game. It's the personality, and you'll watch him play anything. And that's great. But like, I mean, I'll put my hands up and hold up. Like before I had the PlayStation and things like that, I watched the entirety of a playthrough of The Last of Us on YouTube, and like it was no commentary. It was just from start to finish, like the beginning of the game. And like I now own a copy. I've purchased a copy. It's great. It's a fantastic game. But like I felt shady watching that. I didn't, because it was just like, I'm just stealing this. Someone sat down and written this, and then there's voice actors that have come and recorded this, and there's somebody who's done all like the texture and modeling work on it and things like that, and I'm just watching it for no money. I just got gated access to this entire thing. It's like somebody recording a movie, and then it felt a bit scummy. But like, and I wouldn't touch a Nintendo game. I wouldn't play Smash. I wouldn't play anything. It seems too risky.
It's a shame that Nintendo are doing this, because it's giving them free advertising by getting people just playing their games on YouTube.
It's so silly. I mean, like the amount of revenue, like that I Am Bread game, like that came out a couple of weeks ago. Like that's like PewDiePie played it. Loads of other YouTubers played it. It's got to have made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars just out of like impulse buys. Like Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator was such huge clickbait, wasn't it? Like it was made for people like Yogscast and PewDiePie and all that sort of those people to play, you know, and they clearly get money, and
that's taken off to such a degree now. You got Android, you know, versions of the game.
Yeah, it's just, you know, there's multiple platforms and they've got multiple revenue, and like it's easy for parts. Like there was another one actually. Microsoft recently, they changed a lot of their Let's Play rules and things like that, and they had a term and condition in their sort of like contract which was talking about you can't use, like, it was really weird. It was like you can't use the word Let's Play Halo in content online and things like that. And everyone got really up in arms, and it was like it was a great Reddit fuel like debate about no one was ever going to change like play Halo online anymore and call it Let's Play Halo. But they changed their mind. They backtracked and said, you know what, you can call it whatever you want, you can play it, you can monetize our content. You know, I mean, Minecraft did it. Minecraft was huge. Like they said, you know, you can monetize anything. You just put credits. Yeah. It's it being Minecraft content.
Well, Minecraft are Mojang are kind of special.
Yeah,
they're a fairly good developer.
Yeah, they've got that indie vibe thing. The things like that, like it's indie companies especially benefit from YouTube interaction.
Yeah,
and yes, we know Nintendo has the money, and yes, we know they're very, but that should give them more. If an indie studio that makes no money, like hardly any money, can do it, why can't the multi-billion-dollar Nintendo do it?
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah. Next thing, do you want to have a? What do you want? You were something that you were talking to me about recently. What do you want to start talking about this one?
Yeah, the Microsoft. What was it? It was like a conference or something they had recently.
It was there. We're not going to tell anything at E3 anymore. We're going to do our own thing, like everyone's doing.
See, I didn't even know it was going on.
I know. Nobody knew what was going on.
It was there.
Yeah.
They unveiled a new piece of kit called the Microsoft Hololens, which is kind of like a holographic display which you wear on your face, and it would draw. Obviously, it'd be like a pair of glasses that you wear on your face, where there are screens in the lenses, so it's holographic displays, and they would draw on top of things in your real world.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have things like a wall, and you could just have a big video playing on the wall just by viewing it through these lenses.
Yeah, so like the trailer they showed like somebody enlarging a screen on a wall, things like that, like a big TV screen, and like arbitrary information being placed on fridge surfaces, and then the big, now they've paid for it, $2 billion Minecraft thing that they could like
just
you can
on your table.
Yeah, you can just build your Minecraft world on your coffee table and blow up your walls and have it in your fridge and all that sort of stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know about you. We've had quite a bit of an experience with virtual reality.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. If they do it right, it might be successful, but it seems like it might turn out to be a bit of a gimmick.
Depends how good the IR scan is, doesn't it? Really, like how stable it can present an image. Because the last thing you want that to be is tatty. You know, you don't want it
to be jerking everywhere and breaking immersion.
Yeah, if they want you to wander around your house wearing this, there needs to be no latency, because the last thing you want to do is like, oh, I'm walking, I'm lagging, and I've walked into my fucking bathroom door. Right? You don't want to do that, do you?
No.
And then the other thing you don't want to do is like...
Well, see, the lenses are see-through, so you can actually see what's in front of you anyway.
I know, but it's still the thing that like, you don't want to...
It's pretty stupid to walk into your door.
Oh, you might be really into like flicking the TNT block that you're like passing along, or like, I don't know, like trapping sheep in a hole if you're doing something stupid on Minecraft or whatever. You know, you kind of got to keep it. Like,
I don't know what you do on Minecraft.
I don't know, just torture and abuse things. Instead of my thing that I can't do it in real life, so I'll just abuse sheep in virtual space. But I don't know. We'll talk a little bit later about like what we want like coming up. But like, I'm way more into Crescent Bay. Like, I'm very more into like, that.
Oculus Rift. That's where
that's where
future of immersive gaming is.
Yeah, and this, I get the same vibe from HoloLens that I got from the now dead Google Glass. I get it's a little bit more of a ambitious use of augmented reality, but I don't think the technology's there yet.
No,
like. It's got to have how many IR scans has it's got to pulse out in order to get a decent
also
view.
Resolution.
Yeah.
If you're viewing at something that's just right up against your face, and you'll want to watch a video which is on a wall 3 meters away, then that resolution on that video is going to be absolutely tiny. Yeah, and it's going to be so pixelated.
Yeah, and if it's and if it's not stable, and you're trying to watch a video and the screen's bobbing all over the place, it's just going to be I think seeing a lot of people who were using it were saying it was fantastic and it was really good and things like that, and I think it's just going to have to be. It's like Oculus for me. Like I didn't really believe in the capability of an Oculus until I shoved one on my face, and then you really see how good it is, and I think I have to reserve a bit of judgment and just hope. You know what? It's not even hope. It's kind of like I'm going to keep myself neutral and just wait and see
how the final product actually performs.
Yeah. So once you've got something delivered, then you can really make a decision.
Yeah.
The next one really is there's another sort of like slightly controversial gaming topic.
Yeah.
And it's with 2014's best developer, Ubisoft. Makers of such fully functioning titles as Assassin's Creed Unity and The Crew. And
I haven't heard about much of the bugs in The Crew. But I imagine there must be some.
It's just like, and then what was it else last year? No, there was something that was released that was just a pile of garbage last year from Ubisoft. I can't remember what it was now. I mean, like, PC alone.
I'll search it.
Yeah, but their PC alone, it was an utter. Unity was an awful piece of shit. And then even on PlayStation, it was just slightly abysmal. I don't understand how in the early access period of whatever it is now, you kind of struggle to produce a piece of content that works. But especially them. But anyway, the more specific thing that they've done this week is actually not as scumbaggy as originally thought. At the beginning of the week, they started pulling people's Far Cry 4 keys. This is people who bought them on third-party sites like GTA or also there's another one, Penkin or something like that. There's resellers, unauthorized Steam resellers, things like that. And they pulled all these people's keys and said, that they've been obtained illegally, and that they were revoking them, and they needed to speak to the supplier about sort of refunds and stuff. And everyone was like, oh, they didn't give any detail. They didn't really sort of explain why they were doing what they were doing. And then Origin came out today and stated that all the keys were bought from them. So they originally were bought from them on a fraudulent credit card by somebody in Russia, and then G2A came out and I said that this person had provided them with so many keys, and they were trying to get in contact with him, but there was nothing, and it's going to cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars to sort of refund all these people for these keys. And I don't know about you, but when you buy a game online, where do you buy it from?
Probably Amazon or Steam, to be honest.
You kind of keep your money tucked in those environments.
Yeah.
I've bought a couple of things on GOG.
Yeah, I haven't really bought on there so much.
And Humble.
I have in the past.
I bought from the Humble store as well.
Oh yeah, Humble store. I completely forgot about that.
But yeah, I've been and looked at these sort of places, but I've never trusted my money with them.
Just I was playing, what was it? I think it was Guild Wars 2 a while ago. And there was one of those websites where it's supposedly they sold gold in game, and I was like, oh, they look like they might be all right. They might be reputable. And you go and look at some of the reviews on other third-party sites, and it's just trashing them.
I mean, I'm unhappy that people got fraudulent keys. If people had the game saves and the games taken away from them, then that's always bad. But a lot of it comes down to region locking and things like that. If you go to something on release day, right, and you go to Steam and it's 50 quid on Steam, and then you look online and you find out one of these websites and it's £30, right? You have to presume that there's something not legitimate about the code that you're buying.
Yeah.
Right? Some of these codes come from lower average income areas, there's things you can, for example, Russia games are always cheaper in Russia because the piracy rate is higher because the average income is lower, so they can't charge £50 for a game in Russia because nobody will buy it, right? So they price down that code and all that sort of stuff, so people VPN and buy it through that way. And that's, although you can do that, it's not technically it's grey area legal, isn't it? And it's just so if you go and buy a day one code from a website like that, you're it's a gamble. And you've got to see it as a gamble. I think it's you wouldn't. So say you walk into a Tesco's and you go and look at the technology centre and you go to see an iPad. And you see an iPad for 500 quid, and then you go out back and there's a store that says iPad shop, and you go in there and there's an iPad for 300 quid.
Yeah.
Do you buy that iPad?
You'd steer clear, wouldn't you?
You'd steer clear about it. It's the same thing with games. You know, like those codes could be. You have no idea of verifying where that code is coming from. It could have literally be coming someone stealing a pack of games off DVDs off the back of a lorry.
Might not even be a legit code. You could just be buying a code online and someone's running off with your money.
Yeah, you know, like
just tempting you in with that low price.
You'd have no idea of like there's like Steam authorized sellers, like Steam authorized resellers and things like that to sell games. They if you see Steam reseller on it and things like that, and it's legit, and it's certificated, great, go for it, buy it, because you're buying it through a company that's trusted. Origin's trusted. Why you would ever buy something from Uplay, but Uplay is trusted. Amazon is trusted. You know, like put your money in something that's a secure environment. Yeah, definitely. Because the last thing you want to be doing is like
having someone ripping off your bank details.
Yeah, exactly. It's just silliness. Like look after you work hard to earn your money, you may as well spend it in somewhere where it's going to be decent. So although we all love to hate Ubisoft, they actually did the right thing this time in removing some codes that were not legitimate. Yeah. And like, just be careful when you're buying your games online, essentially. Yeah. So what have you been playing this week?
I've been having a crack at Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. We've both been playing.
We have
a little bit too much Elite Dangerous than we should have.
Me more than you.
Yeah, me. I think you've definitely beat me on hours played on Elite Dangerous. But what are your initial thoughts on Space Parking Simulator?
Well, it's more Euro Truck Simulator.
Yeah,
space.
Yeah, Euro Truck Simulator in space. But
it's fairly good. I'm really getting into doing the combat now. But what you have to start off just doing like supply runs places just to get a bit of money, and you get a ship.
I was terrified. I was terrified when I first got my ship. I didn't want to fight anybody. I was just like, I'll just take box A to box B. You know, I'd like to box A from point A to point B, and it's just like that was great. I was happy with that. That was fine. And then the combat's really, really fun.
Yeah.
When you get down to it, it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's got some issues.
It's got issues, like, definitely.
I know they've said they've released it now.
It doesn't seem entirely there to me. There's no bugs.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't found any bugs.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Like flying my ship around there's no problems with. Like they've got a really good set of core mechanics.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the interfaces are fantastic. And I mean, you've been playing a lot on Oculus Rift.
Yeah, playing on the Rift is a good way to do it. You just look around and it opens up panels just by looking at them, and you can just interact with it.
And it's
so much more immersive.
Having a go on yours is ridiculous. It's just it drops you straight more into that sort of like we both suffer from being a bit blind. That's the only thing. So like freaking when you're looking through the things and trying to read text is always a bit of a
that's
challenge.
One of the problems with the Rift though. You got that low resolution. You're not up to Crescent Bay yet.
Yeah, but I think with a couple of things like the Wings update that they're looking forward to, so we can actually party up and play and like share missions and things like that. That's going to be massively useful.
There's no way of grouping up with people and following where your friend actually is. You just have to find them. Yeah, I
mean we've got a private little universe going on, and that's great. So
there's no one else actually playing in our world other than NPCs.
So which is fine. We get on with it. It's good. It's fun. I think that's how I think we probably will play it.
Yeah. Because I know that when you play it online with actual real people, some of the spaceports just get clogged up with so many people trying to dock at once.
Oh yeah, there's no point. There's no fun in sitting around and just waiting to park. Is there? Like at least in our version, we get to sort of like go and park it wherever we want, and that's also it's nice and easy. I just think with the Wings upgrade, so you can group, and then when they eventually do like the planetary landing thing,
it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good, but it's gonna make the world vast.
Well, they're going to be a scale 1-to-1 scale planets that are all procedurally generated that you can just explore on vehicle or on foot.
I wonder how they're going to do Earth.
That's what I was wondering.
Like, because if you're going to go and land on like or any inhabited planet.
They might make certain worlds unable to do planetary landing, or there'll only be certain places you can land.
Yeah, it might be an instance. So like they'll like map a certain region or something like that. But I can't wait to be like zooming around in atmosphere. I mean, how good is like the warping alone looks fantastic. How good is freaking like breaking the atmosphere barrier going to be? That's going to look so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they were also planning. I was reading a forum where they said that they were looking at putting in shipboarding. To board someone else's ship and go in first-person combat and fight other people on the ship.
wow.
Yeah, that's got to be amazing.
I mean, if we can do that and share the same ship, like Han Solo,
like
I jump on the gun,
Yeah.
that's going to be amazing.
Like the Adder, where they had the two.
Yeah, so like if you could be
Seats
running,
next
you
to
could
each
be
other.
piloting, and I could be running weapons or something
Yeah.
like that. That's going to be ridiculous. That'd be so cool. But like, it's got so much scope. That's what I kind of like. There's so much promise in that game. Then they've already delivered a really good product, and it can only get better.
Definitely.
And I'm completely happy with like that's one other thing they were saying, that some of the expansion might be paid. I'm completely happy to.
I mean, it's not like it's a subscription game anyway, so the developers have got to have some kind of income to keep the game running.
Yeah, and they're running all the servers for free. Like you pay 40 quid for the game, and then you are online for free, and all that sorts of things. So you know what, I will chuck them some cash for expansion, no problem. Like that's not an issue for me. Yeah. Other than Elite, what have I been playing? I've been playing a stupid lot of Dragon Age. Dragon Age Inquisition.
I have not started Dragon Age yet.
Especially with me and my girlfriend have been playing it, and it's like it's ridiculous. Like the amount of time I spend. I played a lot of World of Warcraft, right? I played an awful lot of World of Warcraft, and like I used to hate quests, which is like go and kill 10 bears and bring me back 10 bear asses. You know, I used to hate that. It was the worst thing in the universe doing this quest. It was boring, it was dull, but I tell you what, I will go pick up every fucking herb, mine every node, and if someone says, oh, you need to go kill 17 rams and bring me back their meat, I'm like, go for it, great, let's go. You know, I'm so invested. Like, it's 50 hours plus into the campaign, and like I'm only halfway on the story. And it's just like,
you say it had something like a 20-hour tutorial.
Yeah,
just to get into it.
Well, like that's the thing. There's like this open-ended like break point where the story really starts, and it doesn't have to be 20 hours. It could be as long as you want. You can choose not to do that mission until you have reached the maximum level. If you didn't want to, you could not progress the story until you've got your character to the maximum level of 20. You know, you could do that.
Is that the max level for the game?
Yeah, the max level for the game. So you could do that if you wanted to. You could not do anything. Like you'd be a little bit limited in like you can get all the companions, so you can have all the companion access and all that sort of stuff. And you wouldn't have access to like your specialism. But yeah, you could do that before you ever ended like the tutorial stage, which is ridiculous.
So a little bit like Oblivion.
Yeah, exactly.
You could you leave the sewer, you can become the Archmage of the Mages Guild, and then you go and do the storyline that they told you to do straight away. Which
is nice because it essentially choose your own adventure. You play it exactly how you want to play it, and the graphics are beautiful. I'm playing it on PS4, and it's like it responds perfectly. The controls are very good, considering I wouldn't usually even consider playing something which has got that many hotkeys on a controller.
Yeah,
works very well, designed very well. Story's very in depth. It's very well written. There's this whole god complex thing where like you're considered like almost a messiah and like a savior.
Yeah.
And how you choose to deal with that is very interesting, because you can just play the dick, I'm in charge, you must listen to me card, but then you can also play this quite humble card, but you can't play 100% of both, because like each different individual reacts differently to how you do things, so you can't ignore people and things like that. You have to tell people what they want to hear to a certain degree, and like it's really really interesting how that works. But yeah, but 2015 then, what sort of things are you looking forward to?
I don't know what else is to come. Really games you?
Not a massive amount of games.
Top of my head, I can't remember any big.
Evolve looks interesting.
Yeah, it could be good. I played Depth recently.
Depth, the shark one.
Yeah, that was similar to Evolve. Yeah, and it was fairly good.
Yeah, I think Evolve took a lot of criticism in their first alpha stage when they released it to the public, and they took a lot of criticism and they came into beta and they've changed quite a few things. So that's a positive step. That's looking like it's going to be good. Other than that, there's really kind of like there's not a lot for me this year.
I'm waiting for GTA 5 for the PC. Which has been pushed back
again.
Yeah.
Again, but like I just don't. When that eventually arrives, it will be good. You hope.
Yeah.
If it's not,
gotta wait till March.
Woo. But then the end of the year is the big one for me, and that's Battlefront. Star Wars.
The new Star Wars.
Yeah, by DICE.
Oh.
It depends what DICE we're dealing
Frostbite
with.
engine.
If we're dealing with Battlefield 3 beginning, if we could do with like early Battlefield dice, we're in for a really good game. If we're dealing with modern dice like Battlefield 4, like, and like, or no, so it's not even dice anymore. If we're dealing with that, we might have a problem. But like, yeah. I loved Battlefront 2. Like, I played shitloads of Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And I think if they can pull off something that's the same as that, so I can just run around as a stormtrooper and shoot people, I'm gonna be like, if I can jump in an X-wing and freaking fly that around and just like shoot crap, I'm happy. You know, it will be fantastic. And like 128 player multiplayer, that's gonna be sick. It's gonna be so good. There's not. Oh, and Batman. I look forward to Batman.
I'm not a Batman player.
I loved Asylum. Asylum was very good, and then they kind of went there. For me, there wasn't a lot of improvement there. It kind of got a bit dull.
Yeah.
If they pull off something like from what I've seen from the trailers and things like that, like with the whole, it's pre this whole story of Gotham and things like that, by Gotham being all Asylum and all sorts of things like that, and you've got the Batmobile. If they pull it off, it could be really good, because I love Batman. Like, I've read so much Batman, like I've done so, like, and if they can pull off a good Batman game, I'll play the crap out of it. But
definitely. I have got the Batman games on Steam. They are on my to-do list, but it's just getting around to them. I've got Assassin's Creed to finish. I've got Far Cry to finish.
Yeah.
And now I've got Elite.
Yes,
so much.
There's so much in the list of stuff to do.
You know, with uni as well.
Yeah.
Being a student, I've only got so much time.
We've got so much time to actually do stuff. Tech-wise this year, like, what is there anything that like anything really that's like touted? I mean, we might see some HoloLens beta testers coming out.
Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be a Crescent Bay release?
Yeah, the new Oculus Rift. Is it the consumer version, or is it?
It could just be DK3.
It could be DK3, but then they did. I mean, I know before the Facebook buyout, they promised a delivery date of 2015.
Yeah. But then there's so many things online saying like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Could be whenever.
Yeah, it could be whenever. But like, if it's DK3, I'm really umming and ahhing about whether I will even fork out for it. Because if it, the fact that it's got a better resolution screen is a super plus. You know,
what's Crescent Bay? Did you say it was 4K?
It's a 4K display. Oh
What
yeah,
display
UHD.
They're using them there now.
I don't know. It might be the one from the Nexus. It must be a panel similar to the Nexus panel.
The Nexus is only a 2K display.
But
it's not 4K yet.
But if they're using a 4K display,
it could be a custom display.
Hopefully it is a custom display. Like, I mean, the DK2 uses the Note 3 screen.
Yeah, it is Note 3.
Yeah. And so does Samsung Galaxy Gear and all that sort of things. That are like, if they get it, I mean, if that's good, and then they're removing some of the tracking, they're making it a little bit more. They've built their own tracking system.
Yeah, I heard something about it. It was like instead of using IR tracking to track your head movements, they saw something about like a reality tracker, which would supposedly track where your head is in relation to an emitter. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know the technology behind it, but it could be interesting to look into. It would mean
it's more real responsive, and also means you can turn it 360 degrees.
Yeah, definitely.
Which would be a big plus. I mean, if you're going to team that up with, like, I mean, especially if you want to team up like a Rift with something like Omni Treadmill or something like that, and you want to like really go like.
I also saw Crescent Bay seems to have headphones built in now.
Yeah, audio is built in straight through the unit as well, so you can sort of, and that's including 3D audio, Realtek stuff. So you've got a lot of options.
Yeah,
it's sort of like really creating apps that interact better with environments. Things that's like you can really look 100% and turn like it's like I think that plus an Omni mount or like Omni treadmill is like that plus Omni treadmill plus GTA first person. Someone's gonna want it.
What was it called? It's the people who made the Razer Hydra.
Yeah.
That's now been discontinued a while ago. But the people who made it have come up with a new bit of kit called the Sixth Sense, I think.
Oh yeah,
where you attach objects to your body.
Yeah.
And then that physically moves your character in game. So you could have like controller for a gun, controller for another gun, and you could just run around like that, moving yourself around in game. That'd be amazing.
But generally looking forward to Crescent Bay. I think it should be fairly exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for today. I reckon that's going to. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching the first episode of Casticus.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.